If your brain feels like it's constantly racing, like you can't shut it off no matter what, and it's leaving you anxious, indecisive, unfocused, and exhausted, you've probably been told it's just anxiety. Or maybe you've tried medication or meditation or more sleep. But if you're looking for the real reason this keeps happening, the truth is it might have very little to do with your brain at all. Firstly, let's talk about what's really happening when your mind simply won't slow down on the inside. Your brain, you see, it runs on chemicals. It's called neurotransmitters. These chemicals are called serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, and acetylcholine. These are what help you feel calm, focused, motivated, and sharp. They're kind of like the traffic signals for your brain. They keep everything moving at the right pace. But when those chemicals get out of balance, the system starts to break down. Like, for example, if your serotonin is low, you're going to feel anxious, restless, and emotionally unstable. If your dopamine, however, drops, you lose motivation and focus. When your norepinephrine or adrenaline goes too high, you feel wired and on edge and you can't shut your brain off. And when you get low in acetylcholine, your thoughts, they kind of get fuzzy, like decision making feels kind of like you're wading your way through mud. It's not making a lot of sense. And all of this means that when you're feeling anxious, like your brain has gone on vacation and you're wired and tired, it's simply not a character flaw. It's a chemical imbalance, and it's a symptom of a deeper problem. You see, most people think brain chemicals just come from your brain, but that's not really how it works. Think of this like your brain like a light bulb. But if the power comes from somewhere else, if the power source is off, the bulb is going to flicker, it's going to buzz, or it just simply shuts down altogether. That's what happens when your brain doesn't get the chemicals it needs to stay calm and focused. Now, these chemicals like the serotonin and dopamine, they don't just simply magically appear. Your body has to build them. It's kind of like following a recipe. But if you're missing the ingredients, your system isn't running the right way, and these recipes, they start to fall apart. So if your mind feels like it's always racing, the question isn't just what's wrong with my brain. The better question is why isn't my brain getting the support that it needs to work the way that it should? So let's break down how your gut can quietly mess with your brain without you ever really realizing it. And first, your gut is lined with trillions of bacteria, what we call in the medical field microbiome. These bacteria will make and activate those neurotransmitters like the serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. These also help absorb the key nutrients like B vitamins, magnesium, and amino acids. Now, your body uses these raw materials for your brain to function. But if your gut bacteria is out of balance, if you have too much bad and not enough good, that's called dysbiosis. And that alone can throw off your brain chemistry. So if you have too much bad bacteria and you're not going to absorb the raw materials that your brain needs to create the hormones it needs to work in the way that you want it to, that's what's going on. Second, there's inflammation. If your gut lining becomes inflamed or damaged, what we call leaky gut, what's going to happen is toxins and bacteria and food particles, they start leaking into your bloodstream. Now, this sets off your immune system by raising inflammation in your brain, and it disrupts the neurochemicals. And in the case of things like low stomach acid that we see all the time, you're not properly breaking the proteins down efficiently. And since your brain hormones are made from proteins, your brain starts running on low, kind of like your gas gauge running on E. And you're going to start running low on supplies. So third, if you have an infection like H. pylori or parasites or candida, your gut shifts into survival mode. And this will push up stress chemicals like the norepinephrine. And it's going to lower the calming chemicals like acetylcholine and dopamine. So even if, here's a perfect example, if your diet is perfect, and you're trying to do all the right things, if your gut is off, your brain can still feel like it's spiraling out of control. So once we see what's going on underneath the hood, we can create a plan to fix it, because you can't throw supplements at symptoms and simply hope for the best. Here's what we focus on. Number one, rebuilding the gut microbiome. We use a specific probiotic. I prefer Saccharomyces boulardii. This is my personal favorite. This way your body can start making the right brain chemicals again by absorbing the nutrients. Now, number two is we start calming down inflammation. For example, we remove food triggers like gluten or processed foods. We find more often not that there's one or more hidden food sensitivities that's actually driving gut inflammation. And so we need to start decreasing that inflammation so your brain chemistry can start working again. And here's the thing that we see clinically: the more stool samples that we run in our clinic, the more hidden gut infections that we tend to find. I never would have guessed that we would have found so many people with H. pylori, C. difficile, or Candida infections. Now, number three is supporting your digestion and absorption. That means improving your stomach acid. If it's low, which we find in most cases, we start adding in digestive enzymes and making certain that your body can actually break down the proteins and absorb those nutrients. Now, number four is we need to replace the nutrient deficiencies. We bring in high quality forms of vitamin B6, magnesium, iron, if necessary, zinc, and amino acids based off of what our clients specifically need in their lab work. We don't play guessing games. So we need to replace the nutrients that are missing. Now, number five is coaching and mentorship. This isn't just about fixing your labs. It's about helping you rebuild your habits, rewire stress patterns, and create a lifestyle that helps support long-term healing. Oftentimes we find that having that expert guidance is the difference between real transformation and just another protocol that ends up in the drawer after 2 weeks. So our goal is very simple with our clients: to stop chasing symptoms and finally support the body systems that control your mood and your energy and your mental clarity.